Hi, it's Marcus de Maria here, and I've got a really important message for you. Very, very important, especially right now. And that is, and most people don't know this, but there was a time in my life when I was really struggling. And I was in a job. I got a new boss. And this boss, I loved my old boss, loved her. And she went to have a fourth child. And this new boss came in, and it was just awful. He had no people skills, and it was just awful. Most of the people left, but I'm kind of like this faithful dog, staying. I got so stressed, I actually ended up in hospital. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that was me. I don't know whether you've ever been to hospital and you had somebody screaming. That was me screaming. And I was in such pain, physically, emotionally, really, really bad. That's wasn't a great time for me. And I knew I had to get out, but I was being paid. And the money was quite good, but I hated it. But the money was quite good, but I hated it. But the money was, and I was just in this rut. You always think ruts are for other people. And one day, it was in the Evening Standard, there was a picture of a guy, and he was like doing this, and he had these big teeth, and I just thought, who is this guy? It says, change your life forever. And I went, oh, yeah. But I thought, you know what, I'm in pain, I need to do something. So in the lunch break, I picked up the phone, and I called them. And it was around £700 for this 3 days. And I thought, £700? I was totally new to this whole personal development and growth and something. I just thought everybody had to suffer, everybody else was also miserable. And but I thought, £700? And I thought, do you know what, no, I'm not going to spend £700, I was ready to put the foot down, the phone back down. And the guy on the other end of the phone, he said, well, let me ask you a question. I said, well, sure. And he said, what if you didn't go to this seminar and you made no changes in your life and your life stayed the same? And I remember, I didn't even think about the answer. It just came up. It was basically, no, I've got to make a change because I was in pain. And he goes, good. Okay. So he goes, well, let me ask you another question then. He says, what if you did go and it did make a change in your life? And I was like, oh my goodness, absolutely. And I got the credit card out and I paid for it. And I tell you what, thank goodness I did. It was the best thing ever. Now I had to travel there. This was actually in Cardiff when I went, and you're not gonna have to do this at all, because it's all virtual now. It's amazing. I actually had to travel there. I had costs and all this kind of stuff. But I went on my own. I didn't tell anybody about it. I was sitting at the back. Everyone was so happy there. They were clapping and so I was like, oh man, I've joined a sect or something. It was, honestly, it was just like, why are they so happy? And I was like this. I remember I was like this. I was like, I'm gonna go any moment now. But as I listened to this gentleman on stage, and I wonder whether some of you have guessed who this is already, I started thinking, God, that makes a lot of sense. I'm in charge of my life, and I have the power to decide, and all this kind of stuff. And I guess I already knew that. But why aren't I doing it then? I was looking at the guy next to me and the woman next to me, and and then we started talking and everything. And before you knew it, I remember that the information and what it gives you and the strategies that I use to this day, and Madrika, by the way, uses it to these day, the strategies that we do. It's almost like you've got this stuff in your head. It doesn't matter what happens, you can deal with it. You just know how to deal with it. And I remember on the Sunday, he says, you've got to, when you make a decision, you've got to take massive action towards that decision. Otherwise, it's not really a decision. It's just like a wish list or something like that. And I decided to leave my job. It's almost like, I don't know why you need to hear this from somebody else, the stuff that you kind of know that you should be doing, but you just can't. Sometimes you're in a rut. Sometimes it's just the case, or you just want to get to the next level in your life, and you need to think differently if that's the case. And so I said, right, not only am I leaving my job, I'm actually going to leave my job. And I remember standing in this queue of other people. They're probably doing the same, right? Waiting to get to the payphone, at the time. And I picked up the phone, and I left a message for my boss at work to say, I'm going to meet you Tuesday morning. I need to speak to you. It's really urgent. And put the phone down, feeling amazing and a little bit scared as well. And I didn't know what I was going to do or whatever. I just knew I needed to get away from that pain. And I remember that Tuesday morning, my boss came along. Oh, I've got your message. Did you want to speak? And for a split second, I thought, oh, do I want to speak? Do I want to speak? And I thought, do you know what? Yes, because now I've got the strategies. And I remember I went into his office and I fired his ass. And it was the best thing I have ever done. Thank you so much, Tony Robbins. That's who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Anthony Robbins, Tony Robbins. He is, people think about him as being this kind of like success coach or motivational speaker. He is so much more than that, because you learn the strategies. And I went on a journey with him, leadership and senior leadership and much, much more after that. And that has allowed me to be who I am here today. The CEO and founder of Investment Mastery, blessed in so many different areas of my. Do you know? I was actually walking into the office today with a big smile on my face, just going, I am so blessed. I'm so lucky. But I guess it's kind of me that made this luck. It's me that allowed me to become blessed because of the strategies that I learned there. And what a journey it has been. And if you haven't been on this particular seminar, it's called UPW, Unleash the Power Within. It is amazing. Do you know how many times I've been there? I've done it at least 5 times. I've even flown to America to do it. I mean, because the learnings are so foundational that on top of which everything sits. It's powerful. It's powerful. It's so powerful. That's why I'm doing this video. I wouldn't normally do this at all. When do you hear me talking about other people's seminars? Never. Never. I mean, literally never. Have I ever done a video like this? Never. And so what I'm going to ask you to do, I think it's coming up in June, but you don't even need to travel, because you're actually going to be able to just do it virtually. And a lot of my friends have done it recently, because I'm always urging my friends to go. And they said it was amazing because you can do it with your entire family in the intimacy of your own home, which is such a blessing. So you don't have to travel, you don't have to do any of that, so you don't have to pay for hotels or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just very, very quickly interview Richard Tan, who is the founder, the CEO of Success Resources. And he's going to talk a little bit about that event. And listen, just make a commitment right now to go. Just decide to go. You've got to trust me here. You're going to love it. You can thank me later, because it's going to absolutely change your life. All right, so let's talk to Richard very, very quickly, and I'm sure he's going to make you an amazing offer. You don't have to pay the £700 that I had to pay. Well, I don't think you are anyway. I don't actually know the price, but whatever it is, even if it's $1,700, you should go. No, it's not. So let's go and talk with Richard, and then make that commitment to go to Unleash the Power Within with the one and only Tony Robbins. So Richard, thank you so much for joining us, and this from your home in Singapore. It's really great to see you as always.
Thank you, Marcus. I'm so excited. To every one of you that is watching this, greeting from Singapore, otherwise known as paradise.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, it was Tony who taught me, that 80% of success is really mindset. So do you agree with that statement?
Absolutely, absolutely. I do agree with that statement. I can share with you a couple of experience how this Tony's lesson has helped me to achieve a lot more than beyond what people believe that can be done. When I first started this business some 30 years ago, the largest seminar in Singapore has only 600 people. Okay, Tony taught me to go beyond my limiting belief, and guess what? The largest venue in Singapore, can hold 12,000 people, and I went to book that venue for 12,000 people. Of course, I worked very, very hard, but I didn't manage to fill up 12,000 people, but I managed to fill up 5,000 people. And at that time, that became the largest seminar in Singapore. Now, the thing here is this: when you go to Tony Robbins program, you begin to overcome your limiting belief, and you are able to do things that other don't believe you can do it. And that was the time where I fill up the largest seminar venue in Singapore without knowing that nobody has ever done that before, without knowing that it cannot be done. You see, the thing here is this: I don't know that it cannot. I don't know that it cannot be done. Right? That a lot of people feel that it cannot be done. So having the mindset is very important. Another example is in 1996. In 1996, I got a critical illness. What I meant is that I got cancer and of the colon, and I went for a surgery. So the doctor took 2 feet of colon out of me, and then I went for chemotherapy, right? Now, at that time, Success Resources, we were running events in Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Taiwan, etc. Now, the event in Singapore, Malaysia, Taiwan, they are all full. The only problem is Hong Kong. Hong Kong, we booked a big venue. It's called Hong Kong Colosseum, and that venue can take 6,000 people. But 4 weeks before the event, we